Yo, what's up everyone? It's your boy Looney. Today I'm walking you through how I built my first 10,000, 25,000, and now we're pushing past 40,000 in my portfolio, looking for 50,000 by the end of this year. And no hype, there's no overnight flips, it's just real trades, real mistakes, and what I do a little differently. Before we get into it, quick shout out to the Discord community. It is free to join, and then I also have a premium membership. It's $8 a month, and it gives you access to my trade alerts, one-on-one coaching. I have a course, I do giveaways. You can check it out. All links will be in the description. Let's jump right into it. So the first 10,000, how did I get to 10,000? This is probably the hardest because the hardest part about investing is actually starting. And I didn't have much to start with. I think I only had 2,000 to start with. I was working and I was saving small chunks, probably 100 to 200 at a time. And I didn't really know too much. So I sort of chased hype. I was randomly selecting investments and just following YouTubers and just hoping for moonshots. My thought process was, the market over time goes up, so I don't think there's any bad investment. And you could see here, if we go down to my positions, I have a lot. I have a lot of different positions that are just one share or two shares, because in the beginning, that's what I was doing. I was doing every position possible. Now, I haven't sold these. I do plan to sell them when I reach a certain point. Probably 100% return is when I'll plan to sell these, just because to hit another 100% after that is a lot slower. And I want to have that opportunity cost, that cash somewhere else, so I can put into another investment. So what worked for me was the dollar cost averaging, and it's what I do today. And it's in stocks that I believe in. What didn't work was kind of going all in and just not really doing any research. So we can look at like data. I still don't really know much about this company. I do know some reputable investors that are shareholders, but that is not enough for a good investment. And I'm paying for it. I mean, it's only a $100 or $200 investment. It's 0.53 of my portfolio, but it is negative and it's good to show. On the other hand, I am selling covered calls against it, hopefully getting out of this and get my shares called away. So the lesson in this stage, getting to that 10,000, let me just show you here, because although it says I started with 37, it was more like I started with 2,000 and I worked it up to 10,000. I'm not really sure when I hit it, but I'm sure it was somewhere around here. And the lesson in all this is to just start. Just start investing. That's probably the hardest thing, is to actually start, because the only way you could truly learn is by doing it. And just to stay consistent and just avoid chasing, going all in on hype. You can go in on hype, but I would wait later down the line when you get into investing, just because you can allocate a risk. Your risk tolerance is a lot different, because I do risky trades, but it's with small portion of my portfolio. And I kind of have the idea that I'm okay with losing it, and that it's just a risky trade. I'm aware that it's risky. Now, milestone 2 was hitting that 25,000. And this is where I started taking things seriously. I was doing more option plays, selling options, specifically selling cash secured puts and covered calls. And I wasn't trying to time the market. I was just trying to own the shares at a discount and get paid premium. I was still being diverse. I still was investing in too many things. I got into crypto, but I decided to just trim off some of my random plays and just really built on conviction plays like Riot, Mara, and we'll get into SoFi, because SoFi was pretty recently, but at the time was just Mara and Riot. So what worked was the selling options. I believe my first ever option selling was with Ford, and I had no idea what I was doing. And I kind of just, like I said in the first milestone, is to just start. So I learned by doing it. And I think we could see here, I had some recurring buys and a limit buy. I'm not sure why it's not showing the options, but I did do some options on Ford. I'm sure it's just so old that it's not going to show, but I was selling puts and calls on Ford, not really making a lot because it is a boring stock, I'd say. It doesn't really move. I'm actually curious to see where it is because when I was looking at it, it really hasn't moved. I mean, $10 is kind of where it sits. And you can make money selling options because the stock doesn't move, but I like the higher premium, the higher volatile positions. What didn't work was just doing the old habits. I bought options. I think I bought some puts and calls, and I didn't really know what I was doing. And I just did it based on straight up vibes, I guess. And it hurt me. So I realized that selling options is the way to go. And it's about 95% of my option trading is selling options. I do some buying. You can see down here, I have a buy call for 2 positions and then a few credit spreads. Those are still kind of a selling option strategy. Still small, but majority selling cash secured puts, selling covered calls, collecting income. And another thing that didn't work was my delta. So I was doing a little bit more risky and I was just getting acquired shares, and we could see my portfolio was doing pretty good. I think I hit 25,000 pretty early. It was probably around here is when I hit 25K. And then we could see as we move on, it dropped just because I got assigned and my shares were bought in at bad prices. And my lesson is really focus beats FOMO. It's good to have cash on the side and just have a plan for every trade. My milestone 3 is where I'm at right now. And right now I'm sitting at 49,000 and I'm aiming for 50,000 by the end of the year. So my strategy now isn't totally different from where I started. It's to build the 100 share strategy where you're running the options wheels, selling puts, selling calls. And one thing that I am doing differently is treating cash like a position. You could see I have 6,000 in cash because we are in a very overbought market, I'd say. Like if we go to VIX, you can see VIX is pretty low. It's at $16. And usually when it's under 15, we're kind of due for a pullback or some kind of crash. So I am having cash on the side, taking profits. That's something I'm getting better at, is taking profits, especially with crypto. Crypto is very volatile, and they sell you the dream that you're going to become a millionaire overnight. And yes, that is true, but it doesn't hurt just to take profits. And last is just stay small, but stay consistent. And with all that, I still make mistakes, maybe over hedging a little too much. Maybe I'm getting greedy with puts, but I've learned that small wins stack. I track my trades, I adjust when needed, and I always leave room for volatility. What worked was patience, strategy, and realistic goals. And what I tell my past self is to stop trying to triple your money in a week. Master your system and then scale it. If you're on your way to your first 10,000 or next 25,000, drop a comment below where you're at. Join the Discord if you want full breakdowns and real-time trades. It's free to join, and then the premium is $8 a month. Peace, and remember, this is a game of consistency. Peace.